Hi guys, and welcome to your handover videos for your Bailey Phoenix 644. So we're going to send you a few short videos now, just showing you how to set up your new van on the outside and on the inside. So starting off at the front, where you find the location of the A-frame. So you have your hitch head stabiliser and your hitch head, handbrake, towing electrics and your jockey wheel. Once you've detached your caravan from your car, use the jockey wheel to wind the caravan level. And before we go inside, we wind down all four corner steadies. One on the door side and one on the off side, either side of each other. And there's also two underneath the rear body shell as well. On the door side of the caravan, you've got your external wet locker to get underneath the island bed. You have your 240 volt inlet point, so this is where your mains electric hookup is. We're using our mains lead for today's demonstration. External wet locker to get underneath the left hand seat. Nothing else to report at the front of the caravan, so it then takes us to the offside. Firstly, you have the inlet for your water system. Now at the moment, we're not putting water through the caravan, so it is fully drained down. Your water pump is located in the kitchen sink, and it plugs into the side of the inlet, and what you do then is you push the cap down to lock the pump into place. The pump sits on the opposite end of the hose, so your Akerol will go underneath, and your pump will slide into there. You then have the flue for when using the water heater on gas. You don't need to do anything with that, you leave it as it is. That then takes us to our gas locker. So, all the stuff that's been left in by the previous owner we have left in there. You have space for this, you can see, for two 6 kilo gas bottles. We're using our gas hose and bottle for today's demonstration. Mounted to the side of the caravan is the regulator, and the hose screws into the regulator left hand thread, with the opposite end into the bottle, remembering to open it for use and closing before you travel. Just past the offside axle, you'll find your wastewater outlets, which are 28.5mm in diameter, and that's where your wastewater will come out of. And finally, then you have the cassette toilet area. So into the top compartment is your flush tank, so it's water in a cap full of pink toilet fluid into there. And underneath is the holding tank, which houses the cassette. To empty this, you lift the orange handle and slide it out of the holding tank. Take it to your nearest waste disposal area on site. Twist your funnel around, unscrew your cap, and then to empty it, you're tilting upwards whilst pressing this orange vent button like so. Swirl the funnel out with a bit of water, and then into your cap is blue or green toilet chemicals. Screw back on so it's nice and tight. Slide it back round and push back into the holding tank. As part of the winterisation process and before you travel, it's very important that we drain out any excess flush water, and we do this with the black nozzle here. Release the cap and all your excess flush water will drain out. As I mentioned, important to do this before you travel and also as part of the winterisation process. So that's the outside setup complete. We'll now go inside. Right then, so we now come onto the internal setup on the caravan. So on this video, we're going to show you where your drain valve is and how we get power inside the caravan. As you can see, we've dismantled the front right-hand seat to expose the boiler. So here is your boiler where all your water is stored in the caravan. So this needs draining down for winterisation, and we do this with the yellow valve that is located to the left-hand side of it. So currently, the drain valve is in the upright position, meaning that the caravan is fully drained down. When you want to come and use the system, just make sure that the valve is facing in the downwards position. So up for draining, and then make sure your taps are also open in the halfway position so it frees up any air. Coming in above the door, you'll find your control panel, and to get power inside the caravan, you press your on and off switch. By selecting this button here, you'll be able to see how much power is coming through into the caravan. Your master switch for your lights is in the bottom left hand corner, and that turns all the lights on inside the caravan. Each light has its own individual switch, so when you get the van, have a play around and find out which switch goes to which light. You have your awning light, which ironically turns your awning light on, and then you have your water pump button. So as mentioned on the first video, your water pump is located in your kitchen sink. So this part plugs into the side of the caravan, and this end into a full Akerol. Once that is locked into place, and that is down in the usable position, you press your water pump button. What you can then do is just run your water through normally on the cold and hot side, and when you get water coming out on both sides of the tap as you would expect, your system is primed and ready to go. Which then brings us on to your next video on how to operate your kitchen appliances. Okay, so your final video then is the operation of the Truma blown air heating system for your heating and hot water. So you have the back button just on the left hand side and your action button or your rotary dial in the centre. Press your rotary dial like so to get onto the sub menu, and this is how you set your heating and hot water. For your heating, you're on the first icon here where it shows the caravan / motorhome icon. Press down on the dial. Rotating clockwise and anti-clockwise, you set it to your desired temperature. We'll take 30 degrees for example, because that's the highest you can go. And you press down and select 30. You'll have a flame come on in the top corner. Now, once that flame starts flashing, that means that the boiler is getting up to temperature. And when it's a still flame like so, that means it's up to temperature. Then next one is hot water. You've got Eco, which is 40 degrees, hot, which is 60 degrees, and you've also got the boost option as well. Your Eco and hot, basically the caravan will warm up the heating and hot water simultaneously. Should you put it on the boost, it will put it on a 15 to 20 minute timer, boosting the hot water over the heating, so it's a prioritising of the hot water, and then it'll drop it down to Eco once up to temperature. And then once you've selected, obviously not going to select it because we haven't got water in the caravan, the icon will also appear just above and flash as well once it's getting up to temperature. Got gas or electric. So you can have gas on its own, or you can have mix 1, which is gas and 1 kilowatt of electricity. You can have gas and 2 kilowatts of electricity. EL1, which is 1 kilowatt, so it's electric on its own, as shown by the icons just there, as you can see if I navigate through them. And EL2, which is 2 kilowatts, okay? Push down, and then you come onto the fan settings. So you've got Eco blow, high blow, and boost blow as well. That is essentially the fan speed, pumping the air around the caravan. Obviously, the higher you turn the fan on, the quicker it will get warm in the caravan. So those are your 4 main icons along the top. Along the bottom, you've got a heating and hot water timer if you wanted to go off at a certain time. You've got your clock to alter your main menu time, and then you've got the spanner in the bottom right hand corner. That is a setting spanner and mainly for service use, okay? Shouldn't need to go into any of that. You can alter some bits and bobs like from a 12 to 24 hour clock, temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit if you're American. But other than that, those are the 4 icons along the top. If you want more information on the Truma panel, because we show you how to do the very basics, if you refer to your book packs, it'll have full instruction manuals with it. And then once you are done with the panel, turn your icons to off on your heating and hot water, hold your dial down until the panel turns off, like so. And that is how we set up your new caravan. So your leg winders and your motor mover winders, butt packs are all just by the main door as I mentioned. Your toilet operates on the blue push button for the flush, so it's an electric flush with the grey lever underneath to open up the holding tank. When you come to leave site, make sure your skylights and windows are all fastened down securely, and please make sure your caravan is packed down correctly before you travel as well. Guys, thank you very much for choosing Burton Caravan Centre in Burton-on-Trent for your caravan purchase. We hope you find these handover videos helpful and informative. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me when you come for handover. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you. Right, so we now come on to the operation of your kitchen appliances. So this is how to operate your hob, grill and oven and your fridge. So you have a 4-burner gas hob set up on your caravan. You want to make sure your glass lid is pushed all the way back. Now your hob cover does have a little clip up here, which if you pull it off, clip it onto the hob protector, that will clip that back. So the knobs are here and your igniter switch is on the far right hand side. So I'm just going to light these all for you now so you can see them all working. Appreciate it's not the greatest of views. As you can see, all working as they should. Important to draw your gas through when you're first using the caravan again, just so the system is primed and ready for use. So your grill knob, as you can see, on the left hand side And the grill pan and handle are located in the door just underneath the oven. And then down to your oven, which is this one here. And as you can see, oh, there we go, working as it should. So that is your hob grill and oven. We can then turn our attention to your fridge. So adjacent to the cooker is your Dometic three-way fridge, which works on the car battery, it works on gas, also works on 240 volts. You also have the automatic option as well if you want the fridge to automatically choose a power source. You have your temperature gauge, and you also have the mode set button to select your element. Your on and off button, to turn it on, hold the button down. It is touchscreen, okay, so it's quite a sensitive panel, so if you end up leaning on it, etc., you can change the icon or to alternatively turn the fridge off. So it's currently set to auto, which is what I recommend, and all you need to do then, as I say, is come and turn the fridge on and off. If you want to manually select, just press your mode button like so and navigate through the icons. If you select gas, you'll hear the igniter come on behind the fridge, and then a successful ignition after about 3 or 4 seconds. You've got your temperature gauge as so, up and down. See, the higher it is, the cooler the fridge will be. But personally, as I say, leave it on auto, let it cool. It will take about an hour or so to get up to temperature. And then once you're finished and you're ready to go home, press your on and off button to turn it off. So that will bring us on to your final video, which is the operation of the Truma blown air heating system for your heating and hot water.